This particular video discusses the timeline of June 2007 to December 2012, which is a completion cycle of the Mayan calendar. We've spoken with Carl Koloman, which was just great fun all the time to discuss this with him. What we're feeling is the compression of time and space energy fields and the increase in the intensity of consciousness awareness. It's like it was analogized to be like a wave moving to shore. So from our perspective, everything is speeding up. But we are vibratory beings, and so that's what the feeling is that we're experiencing that. So what we're experiencing is this movement into a faster vibration. In actuality, the space wherein your vibration manifests is disappearing as time progresses into these omnicentric singularities or portals, and so it is kind of like this energy of being pulled out of your so-called normal reality. When we're looking at the energy of space and time, they're completely inseparable. So as you lose time, or as time seems to speed up, space seems to become much more, it becomes much freer because you have so much more, it seems like, in a way, more space to move in. It becomes a different physical energy for each consciousness. This metamorphosis is the transition or the ascension, which is like an event horizon. So there is a sense of timelessness that is happening in the center of the vortex when the past and future are being compressed, and the eternal now is expanding into this deja vu type of experience. This section of the GoldRing was written right after what was called the Messages from Andromeda. And in this focus, the spiritual and visible is moving to assist in the creative field, and the reactive field, or the playground where we have energized our lives, is becoming a different type of plane of experience, where it's becoming a creative ground rather than a reactive ground, where things are moving into harmonic coherence, is the physics term for it, which is becoming an awakening of different talents. And this is coming through a unification. This unification is the challenge, though, because the challenge is to overcome the addictions of the ego. And that's one of the big issues of all the levels of consciousness right now, is how to deal with ego addiction. And I was writing something the other night about the final adjustments in this period of time is being presented to all the different channels and people, whether you're a channel or not. And I called it the Council of Alcyone, just to put some cool energy to it, and with the Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian contingents. The final codes of the hyperdimensional communications between all the active races and the underlying genetics of the unconditioned cultures are being introduced or installed, or what do you want to call them? When you put that computer program into a system, you loading it. So these things are being loaded because the world as we know it is still working in this separated reactive consciousness. And the way that it was created here was that we would work on an alpha base, an alpha scenario, where we would have different leaders that would come forward, and in order to be a leader, they had to have separated consciousness and move into that role as a star, as and whether it's a dictator or megalomaniac, psychopath, or corporate fascist, arrogant heads of companies. I mean, that's one level, but there's also a whole other level of true spiritual leaders that are making their final awakening point. And this process of awakening is bringing the individual soul group into alliance along a projected path, so that what you see is a grouping of energy coming together, which is, I spoke a little bit about the family of light being your primary nuclear family being roughly your own personal point of view, and your guides, the ones closest to you as your guides, are your integral nuclear family of light. Then beyond that, you have the relatives that open up a larger sphere of influence. The other part of this process of awakening is to focus on the emotional streams that are in alignment with this dynamic grouping, the dynamic grouping within your own family and I just use the term family of light. But the necessity is to connect within your own molecular structure, I guess is a good way to put it, so that you are able to begin to establish the birotating heart field in a way that is activating, so that the spinning of the vortex becomes a true spin. And so what we're seeing is that the leadership is moving into an overarching spiritual goal, so that the powers of truth are bringing us to unify along the higher aspects of third-dimensional reality, which are beauty and abundance and sacred space. The next side of it also is the fourth-dimensional, awareness of enlightenment and luminescence, of seeing the higher characteristics of their perfected light. We all know the difference between what is good, what is quality, what is cheap, and what is reductive or less than. And so the element of this is being able to go with those higher qualities in physical manifestation, and the higher qualities in personal thought, feeling, and action. When we look at what is happening, and we look at it from, like when I was utilizing the idea of the Council of Alcyone to come together and look at the prospect of what is occurring on the planet, and how the overview is occurring where people are, the extraterrestrials or the higher guides that we are connected to are coming in to pass along consciousness that would immediately connect and enlighten form into a person. But what the big problem is the separation between the conceiver, the perceiver, and the receiver, where you are not all in alignment with that. Because in one way you can conceive of something, and then that's the idea. Ask and it is given is the qualitative process of this. Is asking is that conceiving a question, conceiving and knowing it. Perceiving is the other side of this, which is perceiving all the elements of its, moving through your belief system so that you perceive it properly. And receiving is the manifestation. Now, the troubling part of this is it's become a triangular relationship where there is, on this planetary system, a difficulty in moving into integral or into the energy of being all three of those perspectives, or three of those agreements, I guess is a better word there. That you agree in the manifestation, you agree in the concept of asking, and you agree in the perception of what it is. These are the important aspects of the process of moving out of addiction, because we have to move into a place of flow, because an addiction is a stopping point. Some people are stopped in the conception of what they want, some people are stopped in the perception of what it really is, caught in illusion. And then the receiving part is the ability to put into practice what is asked for to actually feel the manifestation.